Edmonton, welcome to the CEBL. Tonight we have a fantastic matchup as the Edmonton Stingers welcome the Vancouver Bandits to the Edmonton EXPO Center. Despite it being early on in the season, tonight is a measuring stick game for both teams, as both teams believe they are true championship contenders. Last week, the Edmonton Stingers got off to a rough start, dropping a 77-75 decision on their home floor to the Winnipeg Sea Bears, a game they felt let slip away late in the fourth quarter and target score time. Meanwhile, on the flip side, Vancouver comes in with a ton of momentum. They dominated Saskatoon by a score of 124-95, led the way offensively by Jalen House, who had 33 points. We're going to have a fantastic match between both these teams. The pressure is on. For more on tonight's matchup, let's throw it over to the voices of tonight's game, Doug McLean and the coach, Doug Drabu. Guys?
Thanks, Mark. And Dave, I mean, it is early season, and both teams coming in, as Mark said, Bandits 1-0, Stingers 0-1. New lineups, it's early in the year. But one thing we know, two coaches we've seen a lot before, and they bring, let's say, somewhat similar styles. What do you see in terms of that matchup tonight between Kyle Julius and Jordan Baker?
They've seen a lot of each other. They know exactly who they are, how they want their teams to play. Vancouver has changed their style of play a little bit. Jordan is continuing to do exactly the things that he's been doing with the Stingers since he took over as head coach. These are two teams that know each other well. You can even sense it a little bit in the pregame shoot, kind of looking across the court at each other, and almost championship vibes a little bit.
Very early year, there's some of the team stats. Of course, Bandits, I mean, they put up a ton of points a year ago, 124 they put up against Saskatoon. And for the Stingers, maybe a positive, didn't score a ton, only 75, but they held Winnipeg to 77. So that's a good number they can start to build on.
That's their goal every year, I think, when you look back on the stats, is to keep their opponent into that 76 range. So they are happy with their defensive play. What they have to do now is find a way to generate offense against a very experienced Vancouver squad.
Let's go over to Mark Majot. He's with Stingers general manager and head coach Jordan Baker.
Well, Jordan, the past is the past. You can't change it. How excited is your team to get out here tonight and kind of right the ship from last week?
Yeah, I mean, it's an exciting test for us. Obviously, they made a whooping pretty good on Saskatchewan a couple days ago, so our guys are mentally prepared and ready to go.
I know it's a team game, but I do want to ask you about Dane Danger. I thought he had a great game last week. What can he bring to your team tonight?
Yeah, just that interior presence for us. You know, he's got to up those rebounding numbers a little bit tonight. He's got to stay on the floor, stay out of foul trouble. But, you know, matching up against Tyrese Samuel, it's going to be a great opportunity to showcase what he can do tonight. And
last one for you. You mentioned the explosive offense for Vancouver. How are you going to try to slow them down?
Got to get 5 guys in front of the basketball. Got to make them execute. No, nothing easy in transition. Got to take care of the basketball, keep them out of advantage situations.
Thanks for this and best of luck tonight.
Thank you.
Head coach Jordan Baker, you are coming back after the break. We'll have starting lineups, keys to the game, and more. You are watching CEBL on CBC Sports, CBC Gem, and CEBL Plus.
Welcome to a new CEBL season.
It's been amazing, Canada basketball, to put that platform and give guys an out.
The crowds were bigger, the players got better, the quality of the game got better.
You gotta love it, Canadian hoops.
Fasten your seatbelt tonight because we're gonna have some high energy and some high flying stuff.
This is a trail, this is for real, and all that I gotta say. I'm in my zone.
No shortage of emotion, no shortage of intensity as anticipated.
Sliding away. What a block from
behind. What keeps me going? Under the heat of the sun or in the heat of the moment. When climbing for even one more second seems like too much. Whether you're reaching for your goal or busy setting new ones, everyone hits their limit, but that limit has a reset. Scientifically formulated to hydrate faster in the moments that matter. Electrolyte, instant hydration.
inside the Edmonton EXPO Center, moments away from tip-off between the Vancouver Bandits and the Edmonton Stingers. And Dave, you've got some keys to the game. First, let's start with the Vancouver Bandits.
I've got 3 keys for Vancouver. The first one is they need to stay hungry. Mark addressed their blowout win against the Mamba. The 124 points they put on the board, 36 of those were off of turnovers. Their defense has to stay hungry and continue to generate points, which generates pace. Team attack. They had 6 players in double figures, which when you score 124, you'd hope. But they need to continue to share the ball and make it difficult for Edmonton to key in on one particular guy or a couple of guys, and then play the right way. The legendary coach Larry Brown said it best. Unselfish play, excellent defense, and teamwork over individual talent. With so many experienced pros from G League and Europe in this lineup, we should be looking for Vancouver to really play the right way today.
Let's look at your keys for the home Edmonton Stingers.
Absolutely. They got to get to the line. They only had 2 Stingers shoot free throws in their home game, generating 75 points in a loss to Winnipeg. They've got to get to the line. They got to get inside the paint. They got to have a little bit more going downhill. Rebounding matters to the Stingers. They gave up 12 second chance points on 14 offensive rebounds. You can't get out rebounded like that at home. And ID check. It's early in the year, and this roster is still trying to figure out who they are. They've got to start to build some chemistry and figure out what Stinger basketball is this year for Jordan Baker.
So let's get set here for tip-off. Let's get to the starting lineups between the Bandits and the Stingers. First up for the Vancouver Bandits, they will go with Tyrese Samuel, the reigning Canadian Player of the Year in the CEBL. Michael Mulder, Miller Kopp, Jalen House, who just signed a contract this week, and then, had a casual 33 points against the Mamba on Thursday. And Tevian Jones rounds out the starting 5 for Vancouver. For the Edmonton Stingers, they will start Trey King, Samaj Teal, Tay Donald, Emmanuel Vandemel, and Dane Danger. Notably absent from the starting lineup for the Stingers is Mason Bursey, but we'll get to that momentarily. Dave, you've also lined a player to watch from each team. Let's start with Jalen House for the Vancouver Bandits.
You know what? It's no surprise he's our player to watch. He was a G League All-Star, played high school basketball for former Vancouver Grizzly Mike Bibby, and he lit it up against the Mamba with 33 points and 10 assists. He is going to be the key guy for them today. Can he sustain it, and can he set a trajectory for the season?
Dane Danger, the player you've looked at for the Edmonton Stingers, what about him?
He was Mr. Everything for the Stingers in their home opener. He led them in virtually every positive stat category, 19 points, 6 rebounds, 3 steals, just to highlight what he contributed. Again, had an impactful first year in the G League, so we got 2 G Leaguers here going head-to-head in this matchup tonight.
You mentioned out of the starting lineup for the Stingers is Mason Boursier, a player that started the majority of his games here. Started last year with Winnipeg, came to the Stingers early in the season. What does that mean for Jordan Baker in terms of having him out of the lineup?
Well, anytime you've got to replace your captain in the lineup, right? This is supposed to be a leadership guy for you, tone setter. His contributions, Jordan spoke very highly of him, obviously, on the re-signing and coming into the year. So they have a gap to fill in their roster because they have a man down. So next man up in pro sports. However, when it's your locker room leader and a guy that they're counting on for some offensive production, that's going to be a huge hole to fill. I don't know if one individual player is going to do it. I think they're going to have to do it with 2 or 3 players all taking a little bit of a share of that in tonight's game.
Lean a little bit more heavily, likely on Tay Donald, Samaj Teal, Mike Nuga available as well tonight for Jordan Baker, another veteran returning to this Stingers lineup. They do not have Nick Hornsby. Anticipate him very end of May, more likely early June, as he's finishing his season over in Indonesia. So that'll be a nice addition when they get him back as well.
He'll be a very welcome addition when they get him back. And you bring up a great point with Nuga into the lineup. He wasn't here for the home opener last week. So He's an exciting addition to the roster. He's got the chance to be that spark plug and really give them some courage with their captain.
Shamar Givens, one player for the Vancouver Bandits, yet to join their squad this season, but he'll be making his way to Vancouver soon as well. He's been playing in France this past season. We're just about set for tip here at the Edmonton EXPO Center. Doug McLean, Dave Drabuke, and Mark Lejeau on the call. Another good crowd here at the EXPO Center on, well, it's May long weekend, so you never know what's going to happen weather-wise in this city. And it was chilly today, it's supposed to be a little better tomorrow, but anyway, regardless, nice crowd here at the Edmonton EXPO Center. Tip-off presented by Spalding, the official game ball of the CEBL. It will be Danger and Samuel on the tip, and Dane Danger will get us underway here. Second game of the season for the Stingers. Stingers in their dark blue uniforms with yellow and white. Vancouver in their primarily orange with blue and white trim.
And that's the set they run to get Corsier that shot from the corner. He's not there tonight. Those are going to be little elements that the Stingers are going to need to replace somehow all game long. Vancouver wants to play at pace, so right now Edmonton's going to call this a win on that, slowing them down to the half court, and Vancouver still has an answer with a very experienced roster.
Kevin Jones knocks down the three to unlock the scoring here in this first quarter. Nearly stripped away by Samuel Teal to his right, take it right to the rim and lay it home. Steal as Vanderbilt gets back to pick it off, nearly stolen by Jones. Danger has to dodge around. Kay Donald will work against Koch. Good hard working bucket there for Dane Danger.
Danger got a little spicy for him there, and he found a way to finish. If Edmonton can run out on those kinds of steals and score some transition buckets off of turnovers, they really have a chance to match what has been Vancouver's pace historically over the last couple of years.
Jalen House bounces that one home. Samaj Teal with the early matchup on House. As we mentioned earlier, put up 33 against Saskatoon on Thursday. Danger fake to the corner, he'll go off the window. Can't put it home. Rebound, Samuel, now House. Jones working. Means King can't get that one to go over top. And the Mel will slow it up for Edmonton. Nice little soft touch. As I say, he slows it up. Then the quick turn to the rim, and he puts it home with the left hand. And a blocking foul will be called on Trey King.
You know, great gamble in a way there by Trey King. You set yourself up when he turns. If he's there a half a second earlier, maybe the official has to think about that one a little bit longer, but you're letting Vancouver know early, we're going to be up on you and pressuring you, and you got to look over your shoulder, we're coming.
And as a coach, you're okay with that foul early? I mean, like you said, setting the tone a little bit?
Setting the tone a little, and I always said to my players when I coach, block charge, take them all day. I'm okay with it. Now, this last foul, where it's kind of hand on the hip on a shooter, we'll talk about that one in the film room later, but that's just me. But block charge calls like that, I want you to step in and take a chance and be aggressive, and that really does become a tone setter.
The foul will go on Tay Donald, his first, and that will send House to the free throw line. In this Western Conference game presented by Cal Tire. Second one rims up, and it was a foul beyond the arc, so he does have 3 looks at the line. House native of Phoenix, Arizona. You mentioned he played for Mike Bibby. Mike Bibby's his uncle. So there's the family connection, and of course his dad, Eddie, an 11-year NBA career. So pretty good pedigree for Jalen House.
Very much so. When you talk about pros and being able to manage your business, he had a lot of mentoring, which is fantastic.
Just put the ball to the opposite side of the floor, and Donald will draw the foul. Of course, Mike Bibby, first-round pick by the Vancouver Grizzlies, so a connection to the city of Vancouver with his uncle, Kay Donald, at the free throw line.
Well, this has been positive for Edmonton early in the first quarter that we've seen them attack the rim. This one generated free throws, but they've had a couple of really good scoring attempts at the rim, which in their home opener, Winnipeg really kept them on the edge of that charge circle, that extra couple of feet away from them. So we're starting to see, I think, a very conscientious effort from the Stingers right now to try to get to the rim. They've generated some free throws here. Now the big thing will be, can they match pace coming the other way?
They go 4 of 6 from the line last Saturday against Winnipeg. Last year, over 80% from the free throw line. Samuel gets it back to the house. That's what he did so well against Saskatoon on Thursday. And Samuel with the offensive board and the putback. And a delay of game warning issued to Vancouver.
Coach Julius and Perry Stothard having a little discussion about delay of game.
Teal finds King on the right wing. Bandamel with pop on him. Get back out. Teal, long three goes. Savage Teal puts the Stingers back in front by a point. Pop loses it, gathers it back, and then throws it into the third row. That fan was aware. He was ready.
He was ready. Abided by the warning.
Yeah.
Keep your eye on the play. Good job by Edmonton there to force some baseline pressure in a really awkward pass. Vancouver will file that away, and in the second half, we'll see how they make the adjustment.
Teal again. Tries to find danger. Instead, it's Bandamel. Three, that one off the back rim. Rebound, Mulder to House. Pop left open for three. Good rebound there by Bandamel. Teal, he'll slow things up. Looking against Pop, step back three. And goes second of the quarter for Samaj Teal. Jones, little runner, and the net to go off the glass. Rebound Kopp, and he is fouled. Mike Nuga into the game for the first time this season.
Newly arrived.
Yes, newly arrived. Mike Nuga, his third stint with the Edmonton Stingers, and a player that has always brought energy to this group. And so, certainly for a team, as you mentioned earlier, Dave, that wants to play certainly defensively with a good pace Nuga guy that can help bring you that.
Absolutely. He's going to be great as an energy bringer to the defensive end of the floor, and he'll help contribute to the Stingers getting out and playing with pace, which against Vancouver is a little bit of a double-edged sword. But I think, especially with Borsier being out, the arrival of Nuga is very fortunate for the Stingers.
Jalen House to inbound for the Bandits. Finds Mulder. Three, won't drop, danger rebound. It's up ahead to Bandamel. Slowed up by Kopp. And the danger, he surveys. Double drops off. Danger bounce into Bandamel. Can't corral it, it'll go off his leg. By the time he did, he was already out of bounds. It'll be Bandit's ball.
And that's that early season hesitation. Do I cut now? Do you want me to cut? How much space and time do I give you to work down there? They're going to work that out over the next couple of games, especially as their roster solidifies. Great defense here by Teal. Not letting House get any momentum going downhill at all.
Danger rips that board down. He'll bring it up himself. Mulder on him.
Vancouver showing three players to Danger as he brought the ball up the floor.
Teal swings it to Nuga. He'll look at a three. That one goes. Stingers last season 4th in the league from three-point range at 35%, knocking them down at a higher rate right now. That one well off. Nice contest there by Vanderbilt, but the steal by Jones. Puts it up, and that one drops. 21 turnovers the Bandits forced on Thursday, leading to 36 points, and there's an example there as they get a 3 off the steal from Jones.
Absolutely, and no question what was going to happen after that steal.
Nuga looking against House, spins, step back, tough jumper, doesn't go. Ripped down by Samuel. He'll bring it up the floor. Kicks it to House in the corner. 3 goes for Jalen House.
And that's where Vancouver brings numbers. Edmonton thought they had that contained with a nice 3-on-3. All of a sudden it's 4-on-3, and they're looking around who's got the open man.
Teal doesn't drop for him. Vanderbilt, good work on the offensive glass, keeps it alive. Teal pulls it back out. Gaines at the elbow. Drives in with his left hand. Underneath Tyrese Samuel. But the Stingers up by 3. Officials in this game: Harry Stothard, Chris Pichella, Rian Knish. I mentioned them, and here's Nuga quickly up the floor. Doesn't drop, but the follow there.
Julius wants to talk this one over.
We got our first time out of the game. We're going to step out as well. 20-15, the Stingers up on the Bandits. You're watching CEBL basketball live on CBC Gem, CBC Sports, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
You don't just fuel your body, you fuel your drive. We're not here to preach hustle. We're here for the ones who show up. You know who you are. The moms who make mornings feel like magic. The runners lacing up before the scroll. The dreamers writing it down before it's real. And we're here for you. Real fruit, real fuel. Booster Juice. Fuel for what's next.
At Cal Tire, we're here to drive the best value around with free rotations, price match, 0% financing, and free flat repairs. We take care of it all for the life of your tires. Chat with our team at caltire.com.
Welcome back to Edmonton, and early on in the season, these home games are absolutely critical for the Edmonton Stingers. This is a team trying to build rhythm, chemistry, and identity with a lot of new pieces, and there's no better place to do that than right here at the EXPO Center in front of their own crowd. The schedule gets tougher later on in the summer with more travel and tighter turnaround, so banking wins at home now can really shape playoff positioning down the stretch. And against a high-powered Vancouver team that loves to push tempo, Edmonton knows this is an opportunity to set the tone physically and protect home court early in the CEBL season. So far, so good. They lead by 5 with 3:46 remaining in the first quarter. Back to Doug and Dave in the booth, guys.
Thanks, Mark. And yeah, absolutely a good start here so far for the Stingers, helped by 3 threes. A little bit of extended pressure. Teal remains on Jalen House. You can follow at CEBL League on all social platforms to stay up to date on stats, storylines, and more for all 10 teams in Canada's Pro Basketball League. Here is House chewing the shot clock. He's got to get something off, and he will not. Shot clock violation as Jalen House ran out of time.
Teal's going to take some pride in that one. Great job of staying in front of him, forcing him into a tough end of shot clock scenario there. Now they've got to convert this. This is something that they were missing against Winnipeg, was converting these defensive stops into offensive scores.
Vanderbilt missed 3. Isaac Jack into the game for the first time. Pull down that rebound. It will be Vancouver ball. David Mutabatsi into the game as well. For the first time for Vancouver. Foul will go on Teal.
Curious to me that early in the game when Danger was in, they were running pick and roll with House and whoever Danger was guarding. Now, with him taking a break, they've gone to more of an open set to try to spread the floor for House here. create that one.
Dominic Parolin in the game as well for Vancouver. Here's Kopp. Nearly has it stripped away by Jack. Double there from Tony, and Kopp stepped on the baseline. So turnover forced by Edmonton. Just 8. We went to the 21 turnovers Vancouver forced against Saskatchewan. They just committed 8 in that win on Thursday night.
Which is a very tidy game in the FIBA game to go to 8 turnovers. That's pretty outstanding.
And the middle nearly turns it, and he does turn it over. Jones tries to get it out quickly to House. Here's Mutabatsi. We got a foul on Isaac Jack as Parolin had a step around him, getting to that loose ball. That'll be the 15th foul on the Stingers. That'll send Parolin to the line.
Vancouver is so dangerous at pace. Off a turnover, off a missed shot, any opportunity to get to run. So here's a positive outcome. You didn't score, you drew a foul at the free throw line, you're going to score that way. And this is the danger for every team that's going to play Vancouver this year. It's just how they create opportunities.
Free throws down. Of Coquitlam, BC, and his first pro experience just wrapped up his college career at Boise State. Spent 4 years prior to that at Lehigh. He was a Patriot League third-team All-Star back in 2024. Here's Tony. Nuga baseline didn't launch it into him. Donald in danger. Donald surveys along the baseline, finds Tony. That shot blocked. We're going to foul on Parolin on the arm.
Great use of that Steve Nash dribble going under the basket, coming back out the other way. Excellent job there to find a wide open teammate who eventually got fouled.
And that's a tricky thing to defend. How do you coach that? Because like you said, it's not conventional necessarily. And again, you don't want everybody ball watching, but oftentimes that player's sunk in behind the rest of your help defense. Like, what do you do against that?
You try to tell the player that's responsible for that dribbler to not let him come back the same way. If he goes underneath,
force him to that corner.
Force him to keep going, because at least we can shift the floor and contain him.
Marquise Tony was 0 for 1 on Thursday from the line. 2 for 2 here so far. Tony, a native of Fayetteville, North Carolina. His college basketball. He wrapped up his college career at Arkansas with the Razorbacks. 3 years at Pitt. He spent 3 years in the G League before making his way here to Edmonton. House. He's Muhammad into the game now for Edmonton. And that one will go out of bounds off of Mutabatsi. Edmonton ball. Under 2 to go here in the opening quarter. Stingers up by 6. Tony to his right. It's cut off by Mutabatsi. Takes it over to Muhammad, who finds Donald in the corner. Started there by House. And a collision, and they're going to get blocking foul on Jalen House. It's going to be a hold. First foul on House, third team foul on the Bandits. Stingers to inbound from the baseline. Get it to the safety in danger. Nuga, quick look at a 3. That one didn't look good coming off his hand. Short and off to the right. Vancouver ball.
We had a great look at it from here, and it did look uncomfortable coming off his hand for sure.
The late contestant have thrown that one off.
Jay Donald with the assignment on House now.
Samuel. Quick little crossover against danger. Nice move, and gets the layup to roll home. Donald. Picks up his dribble. Muhammad. To corral it.
For two teams that see themselves as championship contenders, the question becomes, how do you handle end of quarter? How do you play the last minute, minute and a half of a quarter here and close it out?
Mulder will check back in for Maryland. Michael Mulder, 84 games of NBA experience, but hasn't played over the last couple years, so jumping back in here with the Bandits. Last played in the G League with Capital City in 2023-24. Samuel guarded by Danger, finds House. House fights off Nuga, but can't get the left-hand layup to go. Nuga finds a cutting Tony with the left-hand reverse.
Great eyes in transition to see that cutting teammate. Here's some of that chemistry starting to build. Nuga, who's a returning player.
Shot clock is off.
Here's the pick and roll again.
House working with Samuel. Has to throw it down. Turnover. Nuga will get it off. Oh, and it won't go off the back window and iron. And that is where we'll end the opening quarter. The Edmonton Stingers with a 25-19 advantage on the Bandits. We'll step out and be back with second quarter action. You're watching CEBL basketball live on CBC Gem, CBC Sports, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
What keeps me going? Under the heat of the sun or in the heat of the moment. When climbing for even one more second seems like too much. Whether you're reaching for your goal or busy setting new ones, everyone hits their limit, but that limit has a reset. Scientifically formulated to hydrate faster in the moments that matter. Electrolyte, instant hydration.
When Crystal Glass introduced our residential window line this past year, it was essential to manufacture them locally.
Crystal Glass has always been a proudly Canadian company.
We employ Canadians, we serve Canadians, and we are Canadians. So you know our windows are designed and built for our climate.
And since we've been the clear choice for glass for over 75 years, you can trust our quality and service.
Visit one of our over 50 locations across Western Canada or at crystalglass.ca. Financing is now available.
Welcome back to Edmonton. We're after the first quarter. The Stingers lead 25-19. And after watching the Vancouver Bandits open up the season on the road with a dominant win in Saskatoon, a lot of attention is already turning toward guard Jalen House. The Bandits team came out flying offensively, built a huge first half lead, and never really let the Mamba back into the game. House is a big reason why there's so much excitement around this roster. The former NBA G League All-Star brings speed, toughness, and elite playmaking ability to Vancouver's backcourt. Last season in the G League with the San Diego Clippers, he averaged 21 points and more than 7 assists per game, and the Bandits believe he can completely elevate their offense this year. Early returns, they look like a championship contender, although Doug and Dave, they have some work to do, down by 6 as we start the second quarter.
7 points as mentioned so far for House, but he's been a factor already here, ball in his hands all the time. Cal Tire, proud partner and tire expert of the CEBL. Shop top tire brands and have peace of mind with Cal Tire's price match guarantee. Shop and book at caltire.com. Donald with the miss on that early three here in the second quarter. Here's Jones. Aaron Runes into the game now for Edmonton. He cannot slow down. Jones gets right to the rack. Here is Donald.
Runes, who previously played in the CEBL as a developmental player, has a full-time contract now. It's nice to see that development path for our Canadian athletes in Canada's Pro Basketball League.
U Sports Player of the Year this past season with Toronto Metropolitan University Bold. And his minutes, even as a developmental player, certainly increased under Jordan Baker, and yes, he will continue to play a fairly prominent role for the Stingers this season. Teal knocks down another three, third already for Samaj Teal. He's got 11 points. Another nice take. Tevian Jones, the one player here so far, Dave's been able to get to the rim with some success.
He has a little bit of his matchup. He's got a little bit of length on his matchup right now, but part of it is just, again, early season and how does Edmonton want to defend that penetration path. You can see Vancouver's made a choice. They're going to close that lane down. They got stuck with their hand in the cookie jar there. But they've got that plan set, whereas Stingers, with a relatively newer roster, are still sorting a little bit of that out right now.
First foul there on Langley, BC native David Mutabatsi. He will check out of the game, as will Aaron Rooms. Bandamel back in for Edmonton. Teal to the corner to Donald. Takes it back out. Tony, three. Doesn't drop. Rebound. And here is Jones quickly pushing the ball up the floor. Finds House. Will slow things up momentarily for the Bandits. Screen from Samuel. Back to Jones, is now picked up by Teal. Shot a little bit short. Bandamel with the board. Finds Tony. Over to Teal. Well defended there by Jones. Nice help. Kick over to Donald. Corner three is good. Donald. The Edmonton Stingers right now lighting it up from long range. Samuel at the top. We'll kick it out. Jones guarded by Bandamel. Oh, so Tony on him. They get a foul on the floor, but they're going to rule it not in the act of shooting.
Yeah, they got him on the Rian did a really good job of pantomiming that for the score table here. It was on the initial rip through before he got into his shooting actions. They're going to go on the sideline.
Teal back on House. Mulder, three short. Rebound grab by Danger. Teal. Back cut there by Danger. Now Donald for three. That one a little strong. Offensive board for Bandamel. Stingers out rebounded on the offensive glass, the Winnipeg Seabears, a week ago, but it was second chance points Winnipeg was able to capitalize on. And Edmonton do the same, but that one zipped. Second row's taking a bit of a beating here in this game. Danger launches that one. And again, credit to the fan. Hey, your fans they're into this. They're paying attention here, not getting
you buy the courtside seat to get into the action.
Ball deflected out of bounds.
That'll stay with Vancouver here.
New Era is the exclusive game uniform partner of the CEBL and all 10 of its teams from coast to coast. Pick up your official replica jerseys today by visiting CEBL.ca. And every time you come to a Stingers game, you see a lot of Stingers jerseys around. Lots of yellow, lots of blue, a few of the white ones, the white thirds. House gets Donald on his hip. Shot won't go. Foul is going to go against Isaac Jack. So it will remain Bandits ball.
That's a good old-fashioned battle by the rim for a rebound there. It's two guys doing their job really well. And that's why the officials look exhausted after a game.
Jack can't close out that quickly, but Samuel off on that three, and then up ahead, Jack runs the floor. Shot won't go, nearly gets deflected in by Kopp.
It's a great pass.
Isaac Jack getting up the floor, looking for his first pro points. Lob inside, well defended by Edmonton, and Donald quickly up, and Therese Samuel's going to pick up a bit of a cheap one.
And immediately look to the bench for a sub.
Carolyn will come in for Samuel. First foul on Samuel, second team foul on the Bandits. Teal to Jack. Carolyn guarding him. Both players in their first pro experience. Jack played at University of the Pacific under Dave Smart. And a foul there on, going to get Miller Kopp on that one. And yes, it'll be Miller Kopp, former Indiana Hoosier. Of course, known for their long and very successful basketball history, but suddenly football became the thing this year as the Indiana Hoosiers, the NCAA football champions this past year.
Oh, how the NIL game has changed the landscape.
Yes. Trey King hits the first free throw.
And not related to NIL at all. We've got Dwayne Notice checking into the game for the first time for Vancouver.
Dwayne Notice, longtime CEBL veteran.
Yes.
Stingers with a 10-point lead. Kopp turnaround. Nice little work there by Miller Kopp.
He's so fundamentally solid with the basketball.
Donald takes the screen from Jack. Finds King. 3 off the mark. Rebound Jones. Jones in double figures with 10 for the Bandits. Foul call here going against Samaj Teal. That will be his second. He'll remain in the game. Tate Donald will come out. Nuka into the game for Edmonton. Mulder kicks it back out. Parolin. That 3 won't go. Good box out by King on Kopp. And now Teal brings up the full for Edmonton. Dump down on the little screen roll to Jack. Shot won't go. Isaac Jack just can't buy one right now.
You could hear the Edmonton home fans all collectively take a breath, hoping that that would be his first professional points.
Very good job on the defensive boards by Edmonton. Teal, 3 doesn't go. Jack can't pull that board down. Vancouver the other way.
This pace right now is where Vancouver wants to play with you.
And Jones now with 13 points, courtesy that 3. It's a 5-0 run quickly by Vancouver. Cut the deficit to 5. Vandemel, a little bit off balance, loses it momentarily, gets it back. 8 on the shot clock. King, guarded by Kopp, step back, well guarded by Kopp.
It's a long arm on that closeout.
Vandemel,
great hustle
with the strip, but it's going to be Vancouver ball, and we're going to get that inbound when we come back from break. 33-28, the Stingers up on the Bandits. You're watching CEBL basketball live on CBC Gem, CBC Sports YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
All right, sticks in the middle.
Can I join you guys? All right, let's go.
Whether it's on the ice or on our app, always play for the fun of the game. Gamble responsibly with Play Alberta.
At Cal Tire, we're here to drive the best value around with free rotations, price match, 0% financing, and free flat repairs. We take care of it all for the life of your tires. Chat with our team at caltire.com.
1:22 to go in the second quarter. Doug McLean along with Mark Majot and Dave Drabiuk. The Edmonton Stingers leading the Vancouver Bandits 33-28 here at the Edmonton Expo Center. And you mentioned before the break, Dave, the pace may be starting to move in favor of Vancouver.
Absolutely. They're getting out and running the way they want. The Stingers have started to match it at the other end. But ultimately, this is the comfort zone for Vancouver right now, which could be a little dangerous for the Stingers if they start to lose track of a couple of guys like Tevian Jones, another former G-Leaguer, experienced with 2 CEBL teams last year, former all-conference player. This is a guy that can fill it up if you lose track of him.
Notice at the free throw line, loses it to Bandamel. Now Teal will push it up the floor for Edmonton. Goes back to the wing and now to the top. Looking against Parolin. Finds Bandamel. Pull-up jumper. Doesn't go. And an offensive foul is going to go against King on that loose ball. And Danger will check back into the game for Trey King. That was King's second personal, team's fourth.
And while the foul itself is a negative thing, getting Vancouver playing in a half-court game right now as a result of that foul may turn out to be a bit of a positive on this possession, or not.
Jones goes right at Danger. Good help by the Stingers big, and now Teal 1-on-3, left hand will go, followed by Mike Nuga.
He got up that ladder in a hurry, Doug.
And that's what Nuga brings. We said it earlier. He brings that spark, and it's at both ends. He's not going to be the most prolific scorer for you, but he's going to bring that spark in moments where you need it.
And perfectly timed right there by Mike Nuga.
You good?
Y'all
good?
Jones hits the first. Tevian Jones played at Southern Utah. John Knight, also on this roster, played with Jones at Southern Utah. Here is Donald. Top to Nuga, picked up by Mulder. It's around Mulder, swings it to the corner. Fake up top. Tony takes it, good help. Coming downhill was Kopp. And they're gonna get Kopp. Thought he got him cleanly, but I was clearly wrong.
Oh, I think you would have a 50-50 vote if you went to the orange shirts and the blue shirts on that one. I don't envy the officials in moments like that, and the hometown fans, I'm certain, thought that was a great call.
So that will send Tony to the line. Coming up at the half, 3:11 from now, an in-depth look at target score time. Mark will interview Vancouver Bandits head coach Kyle Julius. We'll break down the stats from the first half and revisit Dave's players to watch. Tony builds a lead back up to 8 for Edmonton. John Knight, I mentioned his name, he's in the lineup. I'm not sure I had that kind of power, but hey, John Knight hits in the game for Kyle Julius. And there's a foul on Bandamel, and that's going to send Jalen House to the line.
Jalen House, just that calm demeanor. You can tell he's had some high-level experience. He's bringing that savvy with him to Vancouver.
Started his college career at his dad's alma mater, Arizona State, before moving over to New Mexico. His dad, back in the year 2000, the Pac-10, as it was known then, Player of the Year. Of course, then it became the Pac-12, then unofficially the Pac-2. And now it's back to the Pac-12, if I'm not mistaken. Teams added back in some basketball. Gonzaga, if I'm not mistaken, a team moving over there.
I really thought they lost an opportunity to call it the 2-pack.
Well, they might have had some copyright issues there, some trademarks. Danger, kick to the corner. 3 won't drop for Tony, and Mulder gets it tonight. Cross-court pass ends up ultimately in the hands of House. At the elbow, House, that shot won't drop. Here's Nuga. Nuga, a little hesitation at the free throw line. Danger can't pull the offensive board. Nuga pokes it out of bounds. It'll be Vancouver ball.
You can see that Edmonton's consistent effort to get to the rim and get 2 feet into the paint before they make a pass is scoring dividends in making the closeouts longer for Vancouver. They're contracting the defense and then forcing them to have to sprint out to find shooters. Very much like House did right there, forcing all the Stingers to pay attention to where he's going and finding a wide open teammate in the corner.
Turnover by Donald. Makes the play initially defensively. Tony with the block. So not a great turnover by Donald, but he makes up for it at the defensive end.
Great effort. Whether that was first, second, or third effort, that's great effort to get back and break that up after you committed the turnover.
And Vancouver steps in bounds. So that will result in a turnover. Edmonton ball. Timeout called by Jordan Baker. 37-34, the Stingers up. And the lead was at one point 10 at 33-23. So it's an 11-3 run here by the Bandits.
It's 11-3 run.
11-4, I should say.
You get into that pace that favors Vancouver a little bit, and you're having fun playing basketball. And all of a sudden you look up at the scoreboard and you're like, oh, hang on a sec here. They closed the gap. They're playing in their comfort zone. Although it'll be interesting, that mental mistake of stepping out of bounds or stepping in bounds like that, sometimes that's just played Thursday in Saskatoon. Now you're here on a Saturday. Are you a little bit tired? It's not quite a back-to-back, but you had some travel in there. So that's just one of those mental mistakes that just you clean up after a halftime break. So Vancouver's got to be mindful of that as they play their pace. Jordan sensing what's happening here. We talked about it in the first quarter. How do you close quarters? Both of these teams feel that they're championship contenders. Everybody feels they're championship contenders right now. And these two certainly have spoken that way. How are you going to close this quarter out? So get the timeout. Let's regroup. Let's talk about how we're going to close out the last minute 47 here going into halftime.
Certainly Vancouver in that Thursday win over Saskatoon put up 68 points in the first half. Edmonton has certainly done a much better job. Basically, they're at half that right now, so a much better job defensively than the Mamba were able to pull off on Thursday in the opening 20 minutes. But as you mentioned, Dave, a key last minute and a half here for Edmonton to either try to build on this lead or at least maintain it heading into the break. Here's Danger. Finds Donald. Look inside to Danger, who had decent position, but that's a blind pass for Tay Donald. That's a tough one to make.
That, you've really got to put some English on that and spin the ball in, and that's tough to do one-handed through traffic. Of course, the advantage that both of these teams have coming into the second game of the season is they have video of the first game to do some analysis. That's certainly going to favor the Stingers a little bit here, something the Mamba didn't have.
One thing that Jalen House has done very impressively in the 2 games we've seen him in the CEBL is just how good a job he does of creating contact and using that to his advantage. There he almost glues himself to Vandemel, gets a shot off, forces a foul, gets another trip to the line. So just really smart, heady play by Jalen House.
Absolutely, that's high-level skill. We see that all the time. G League, NBA, WNBA games. That's high-level skill. And his defenders are going to have to figure out how to adjust to that. Sometimes you just kind of give one. It's a little like facing a good fastball pitcher. Every once in a while, you just got to tip your cap and go, you know what? That was a good pitch.
Another turnover there by Donald. And a foul going up on Samuel. Are we starting to see maybe a little bit of the challenge of not having Mason Dorsey, maybe a little more of a veteran presence at that point guard spot?
Compounded by Mike Nuga's first game back. And it's not on Mike at all. It's just the guy who's been here before, who's trying to give a little of that veteran wisdom. This is his first game back, so he's trying to figure it out a little bit too. So again, nothing on Mike. It's just the unfortunate circumstance of the kind of the double switch here.
Samuel hits the first. He was a 71% free throw shooter last season in his 16 games with the Bandits. Montreal native. Spent part of this past season with the Valley Suns and Raptors 905. 32 games played in the G League. Teal, Bandits hold in front by a point.
And he looked very comfortable on those free throws.
Vandemel, pull up three, short. Here is Jones. He's way up the floor. Again, that explosion to the rim. How many times have we seen that? They have just not been able to stop him with the ball heading downhill. Here's Teal.
And he knows they can't bring extra help because that's going to leave House on a rotation.
Teal. Shot partially blocked by House, and then the kick out by Teal is going to be a foul on him, and now a timeout called by Kyle Julius with 12.2 to go here in the second quarter. So an opportunity with about a second and a half differential shot clock, game clock. Stingers could have held for the last one. Not only did they not get a look, they pick up a foul, and now 12.2 for the Bandits to operate.
So a calamity here right now in terms of closing out the quarter. This, the foul call over here, absolutely he kicked his foot up. That's where I know he was looking for it. He had the official pull out. He was trying to get one. Great. Okay, you didn't get it. But the compound now is you've given Vancouver the ball back. They get their last timeout to set something here. 12.2. This is a chance. I mean, they could go in with a 6-point lead here if they get a 3-point play.
Right now on a 17-4 run after the Stingers had their largest lead in the game at 10. And offensively, it has just gone completely frozen cold for the Stingers. And that is a challenge potentially with this Stingers team, is where is the offense going to come from when they need a key bucket in a key moment. And that is something they maybe don't have or haven't identified that player or those players quite yet.
Before he was an injury scratch, you'd say, well, they're going to run some action and it'll either be Danger inside or Boursier in the corner. Now they're going to try to figure out where's that going to come from right now.
House back at the free throw line. He is 6 of 7 at the line so far already in this game. And make that 7 of 8. And now 8 of 9, and the lead now up to 5 for the Bandits. Teal with Mutabatsi on him. Finds Danger down the lane. And foul call. We'll see who they get. I think it might be Mulder. Instead, it's actually going to be on number 6, David Mutabatsi. That'll be his second. So we'll send Danger to the free throw line. Muhammad and Rooms will check in for Jordan Baker. And Parolin will come in for Mutabatsi. So Danger at the line. His first free throw attempt and make in the CEBL. 3.2 on the clock, so Bandits will have time for a quick look. And if Kyle Julius doesn't mind me quoting him, he said that timeout he just took was the worst he's ever taken in his life, but still time for House. Gets up the floor, gets across half, and it'll just run out of time. And that is where it will end. 42-39 at the half. The Bandits on a 19-6 run to end that half. And Stingers looked in a good spot, but they will head to the break down 3. We're going to go to Mark Majot with the Bandits, Tevy and Jones.
Tevy and your team up 3 at half. What was working for you, especially in quarter number 2?
I think just playing together, finding the open shots down the stretch, and really locking in on defense, those last couple minutes.
What's the message going to be at halftime to hold on to this lead?
Just continue to play together. We really need to lock in on defense down there and really get some more boards.
Thanks for this and best of luck rest of tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Tevion Jones with 16 points at half. You're watching CEBL basketball on CBC Sports YouTube, CBC Gem, and CEBL Plus. In, the buzz surrounding the Edmonton Stingers has yet to go away. You feel it all over the town. You see Stingers shirts and hats in public. You hear kids talking about basketball, and you see families coming back night after night, season after season, just to be a part of the experience.
This has definitely become the home of basketball for the spring and summer Canada.
Edmonton is showing they're one of the great basketball markets in the CEBL. And the fans here in Edmonton continue to set the tone for what's going to be another terrific CEBL season.
It's season 8 of the CEBL underway in Edmonton.
I got a whole lot of cheese on my nuts. Look at that covered in guns. Getting that money, it felt like a pizza. I get it, it's split with my pockets. Look at I'm moving with fuck my business. You can't even learn it in college. I've been through hell, I've been in this skin with fire. And this one, don't get up on me, don't mess up the aura, I ain't anybody. Do my little dance while I do my thing. Step out like this, tripping up, popping the money. This is the dance swag. Wrapped up in corner, homie, you know it. Some of y'all going outside, I get up, go get it. I ain't finna wait for nobody. Pushing myself to the limit. If I never give up, I'ma win. Pushing myself to the limit. If I never give up, I'ma win. Pushing myself to the limit. If I never give up, I'ma win. Pushing myself to the limit.
77, your Edmonton Stingers 75.
Target score time.
Target time.
Throwing it up and it's going to be an opening night victory.
If you haven't watched CEBL basketball before, it's more than homegrown hoopers and international stars putting on a show for fans coast to coast. Beyond your typical highlight reel plays, our game creates anticipation right to the final buzzer. We do things a little different here at the CEBL. Let me introduce you to Target Score Time. This format keeps things exciting by guaranteeing a game winner every single game. The comebacks, the game-winning alley-oops, next bucket win scenarios, Target Score is where it happens. The rules are simple. The first time the game clock is stopped with 4 minutes or less in the fourth quarter, the clock turns off. Add 9 points to the leading team's score, that becomes the target score. The first team to that number wins. Every bucket matters. Every possession counts. And we've been treated to some pretty memorable moments over the years. Former MVP Khalil Ahmad seals the deal with a massive 3 in last year's Eastern Conference Finals. Winnipeg's Alex Campbell became the first Canadian in league history to reach the 1,000-point mark with a clutch three-pointer to seal the victory for the CEBL.
Oh, what a shot!
Canadian Thomas Kennedy's big steal, followed by a massive poster in a next bucket win scenario.
Thomas Kennedy for the win! Yes! Oh, he didn't do that! Oh my God!
So, what moments will happen this year? Watch CEBL basketball live on CBC Gem and CBC YouTube to find out. Tune in to Canada's Pro Basketball League all summer long.
Let's bring it on. It's game time. It's showtime. Oh, and it goes. Nick Hornsby. Here's Oakland for the win.
big savings on parking at YEG. Use promo code STINGERS to save 20% on airport parking with Jet Set Parking. Affordable parking just minutes from the terminal. Book online at jetsetparking.com/YEG and use code STINGERS to save. Level up your game. Jet Set Parking has partnered with Edmonton International Airport for their new loyalty program, YEG Plus. Jet Set Parking at YEG Plus, a winning way to start your vacation.
Welcome back inside the Edmonton EXPO Center. At halftime, it is the Vancouver Bandits up on the Edmonton Stingers 42-39. Doug McLean joined alongside Dave Drabyuk and Mark Majot. And as we take a look at some of the first half highlights, Dave, a game already that probably has gone a little bit like we thought it might. A game where Edmonton, for good stretches, was able to keep a pace that I think suited their style. A little more, I won't say muck it up, but a bit of that. Great job on the boards by Edmonton. And then it started to open up, and that's when Vancouver went on that 19-6 run in the second quarter.
And that's when we saw them play to their style, play to their identity a little bit. You mentioned that against the Mamba, Vancouver only had 8 turnovers for the whole game. They've already got 8 at halftime, so that speaks to Edmonton's style. Like you say, muck it up a little bit, but definitely try to slow them down and really make it tough sledding, to use a snowy May long weekend analogy. The key here, I think, in the second half is going to be Edmonton finding who's going to be that scoring answer. They've got 2 players on Vancouver. They're doing a great job of being the guy when they need him. Right now, Edmonton's got to find it. They had it early in the game, and then they kind of lost track of who's our guy.
Then you look at some of the halftime stats. What stands out to you, Dave? You mentioned the 8 turnovers already committed by Vancouver, just 8 against Saskatoon the other day. What else stands out for you?
Well, one of the ones that stands out for me is that Edmonton has 7 assists right now, so that means they're sharing the ball really well. They gave up 14 offensive rebounds last game. They've only given up 5 so far at halftime, so they're on pace to bring that number down. So rebounding, they're tied for total rebounds, but I like the presence there, and you can see Vancouver with that fight on the glass as well. I think one of the things that Edmonton has to be aware of here in the second half, Vancouver's shooting it at 38.5 from the three-point line. They're 5 for 13. Edmonton's 5 for 14. They're right there. They have to be careful that if they don't get caught up in the let's just go back and forth and try to trade some buckets here. That's Vancouver's game. They love it to lull you into, not even lull you into that, bait you into that a little bit. Just, hey, come on, let's just play. So, yeah, that'll be key.
And for Edmonton, and look, one thing that we don't talk maybe enough about necessarily with the CEBL is just how tough it is in the sense of you're bringing players in, you're only together for maybe a week or so. I mean, Jalen House signed a contract early last week for Vancouver, so these teams are not together for a long time before they're right into game action. So how difficult is that when you're trying to mold a team together, new players together, and the season's going? That's not an easy thing for any of these teams to have to deal with.
On a scale of 1 to 10, about a 22. Really, it's tough. You've got to find buy-in on a roster, and you rely on those returning veterans, right? You rely on a Mike Nuga. You rely on players that have been around the league at least, who can look at a newcomer and go, hey, no, he's serious. This is what we've got to do right now. So especially early, 2 games in with short training camp, and, well, coaches always think training camp is short, let's face it. Yes. We'd love 3 months of training camp to get ready for the first game. But in a shorter season like this, as players are coming in and you're waiting for them to finish other contracts, it is so tough to figure out an identity right now and get guys to just say, hey, let's do it this way. That's why the playoffs become so exciting in this league, because you've got that momentum built in, the run down the end, and let's face it, for both of these teams, there's a team lurking in the dark corner of their memories right now in the Calgary Surge that's had an interesting record against both of these teams.
Yeah, for Vancouver last year, only lost 6 games all season long. 4 of them were to the Calgary Surge, including in the playoffs. And the Edmonton Stingers have lost the last 3 years in the playoffs to the Calgary Surge. So Calgary not friends with either of these 2 teams. We will step out 42-39 at the break. You're watching CEBL basketball live on CBC Jam, CBC Sports, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
At Cal Tire, we're here to drive the best value around with free rotations, price match, 0% financing, and free flat repairs. We take care of it all for the life of your tires. Chat with our team at caltire.com.
When Crystal Glass introduced our residential window line this past year, it was essential to manufacture them locally.
Crystal Glass has always been a proudly Canadian company.
We employ Canadians, we serve Canadians, and we are Canadians. So you know our windows are designed and built for our climate.
And since we've been the clear choice for glass for over 75 years, you can trust our quality and service.
Visit one of our over 50 locations across Western Canada or at crystalglass.ca. Financing is now available.
You don't just fuel your body, you fuel your drive. We're not here to preach hustle. We're here for the ones who show up. You know who you are. The moms who make mornings feel like magic. The runners lacing up before the scroll. The dreamers writing it down before it's real. And we're here for you. Real fruit, real fuel. Booster juice. Fuel for what's next.
At Cal Tire, we're here to drive the best value around with free rotations, price match, 0% financing, and free flat repairs. We take care of it all for the life of your tires. Chat with our team at caltire.com.
Welcome back inside the Edmonton Expo Center. The Vancouver Bandits lead 42-39, joined by head coach Kyle Julius. Kyle, what was working for your team in the first half?
Oh, working? I don't know. Not much. I didn't think we were very good. I thought we were kind of soft, you know, in general, both sides of the ball. So hopefully we can turn it up here a little bit in the second half.
What adjustments would you like to see your team make in the second half?
Well, we got to get the ball up the court quicker. We were walking it. We don't really want to do that. And then defensively, I thought everything was just really easy for them. So we got to get into the ball and be more aggressive.
Thank you for your time. Best of luck moving forward.
Thank you very much.
Head coach and general manager Kyle Julius. Let's throw it back to Doug and Dave, and we'll get you set for the second half between the Bandits and the Stingers.
Thanks, Mark and Coach Julius. Dave and I both looked at each other as he said, yeah, we were kind of walking the ball before. We thought, yeah, if I'd have put money, I would have thought he might say something like that. But Dave, let's look back at your players, your key players for each team coming into this ballgame.
Sure, let's look at Vancouver first with Jalen House. 2 assists, 13 points, 8 for 9 from the free throw line. And I think Coach Julius almost touched on it a little bit. 8 for 9 means that they're not getting that freedom to play the way they want. He's getting bodied, he's getting bumped, he's got to go to the free throw line. But Jalen doing his piece. Dane Danger that we identified from the Edmonton Stingers, got his first 2 CEBL free throws today. He's got 4 rebounds. He's kind of leading that charge to guard the glass a little bit for the Stingers. 6 points, and he's been a key defensive matchup in that pick and roll game that Vancouver's trying to run with House.
One thing when you look at these two rosters, and it was noticeable in the game, in their 2 games coming into, or prior to this one, I should say, is just how they deploy their rosters. And for Vancouver on Thursday night, all of their starters were over 28 minutes, including 3 at 33 minutes plus. Mutabatsi was the only bench player that played over 10 minutes. Yeah. Look on the flip side for the Stingers, they're a team that'll roll a little bit more throughout their lineup, and we're seeing that again tonight, as we've got 2 players off the bench in Nuga and Tony, already each over 13 minutes. So how do you see that playing out with a team that certainly wants to run in starters like Kyle Julius does versus a team like Edmonton that will roll and include its bench maybe a little bit differently?
Well, the coaches that play a short bench, like Coach Julius does, will tell you that it's better for continuity, and these five know how to play together, and they know each other, and it works. The argument on the Stinger side is we're going to keep throwing fresh bodies at Jones and House and make you have to find matchups and different ways to beat us right now, and you keep your players engaged a little bit. And when you can get that bench scoring, sometimes those guys don't show up in the scouting report as much either. So both coaches will say they're doing it the right way, especially early in the year. You take the 5-6 guys that you trust and just roll with them. You know, this is a great sign from Coach Jordan Baker that he trusts it 9 deep or 10 deep on that roster.
Samaj Teal leading the way scoring-wise for Edmonton. He's got 11. Kevin Jones, as Mark mentioned when he talked to him, leads all scores. He's got 16. Got a foul on the ground. That will go on Bandamel. That'll be his third, so he picks up a quick one just 12 seconds into this third quarter.
And that's a bit of an unfortunate one. You're just trying to get into the flow 12 seconds in.
This Western Conference game is presented by Cal Tire. Here is Jalen House. And a fade-away jumper from the short corner falls for House. House with 15. Here's Bandamel. Stays in the game with those 3 fouls. They work it down to Danger, guarded by Samuel. Donald. Nice little look to the rolling Danger, who lays it in.
And they probably had 3 of those in the first half that rolled out, so they'll be breathing a little easier that they got that one to drop. Good contest there on House.
Samuel, the offensive board, guarded closely by Danger. Might have gotten a piece of that one. Now Donald, the crossover around Samuel. Finds the cutting Danger. Gets in underneath, Kopp, and lays it home. Jones. Slips back and finds Kopp. Quickly to Samuel. Now Mulder. Little scope inside the lane. Scoops underneath to the right. Follow up by Samuel. Follow up again. Tyrese Samuel puts the lead back up to 3 for Vancouver. Nuga on the run. Mulder defends that well, but Tony with the offensive board sets up. Bandamel now to the corner. Nuga 3. Off, and now Vancouver up the floor. Here's House. Thought about the 3. Now here's Jones. Pull up 3 himself. Edmonton almost manages to deflect it out of bounds despite the fact there was no Bandit player within about 15 feet, but they kept it alive.
And that's what a relentless rebounding team like Vancouver will do to you, is just get in your head about, I can't catch this clean.
There is Emmanuel Bandamel with the 3. He's got 5.
And we have a tie ball game.
House underneath Tony, but Kopp there to clean it up. Back and forth we go. Tony, ball deflected out of bounds off of Samuel. Thought he might have gotten the tie-up, but doesn't get the benefit of that call, so it will be Edmonton ball. 18 on the shot clock. Nearly turned over. A bit of a sloppy inbound there by the Stingers, but they will retain possession.
Almost caught Tate Donald napping a little bit on that. Right, he just thought he had an easy, pretty casual catch there, and House did a good job of getting in there to check the ball. Those are the little things that Coach Julius really likes to see from his defensive team.
Good double there by House, and now Donald. Crossover. That one off the side of the window. Danger with the rebound. He puts it home. In Edmonton, your summer plans just got serious. You can join us for multiple special edition theme nights throughout the season. Purchase today at thestingers.ca/tickets. Samuel working hard against Danger. They're going to get the foul on Edmonton's number 42. That is going to send Tyree Samuel back to the free throw line, who is 2 for 2 on the night. As mentioned, Samuel this past season split between the Valley Suns and Raptors 905, averaged just over 8 points a game, 6 rebounds a game. That was his second year with the Valley Suns. Back-to-back double-doubles at the end of March. 12 points, 15 rebounds, and 14 points, 14 rebounds.
Another example of Vancouver Bandits roster personnel with experience, and maybe not with Vancouver, but they've got that experience in the locker.
Dane just starting to come to life here in this third quarter as he gets to the bucket and earns an extra one at the line.
He's the one-man run for the Stingers to open the second half here.
Danger with 6 points already in this third quarter. He's now got 12 for the game. So actually 14, I should say, for the game. Hadn't added that 2 in yet. Now 15. Donald trying to slow up House. House explodes right past him, kicks it to the corner. Mulder, 3, short, rebound, Danger. Now Bandamel finds Tony. Nice little move around Kopp, can't get it to go. He goes up with the left hand and good.
Spicy little Euro step there, and then rewards himself by hanging around for the offensive rebound. Possible 3-point play here.
Mulder will pick up the foul. That's his second, team second. And the Stingers able to generate some of those second chance opportunities. Tony remains perfect at the line. He's 6 of 6.
Just don't say that before he shoots.
I was just going to look over at Mark. Mark's used to me doing that on University of Alberta broadcast, so he'll be proud of me that I waited until after the shot this time. And that ball out of bounds off of Bandamel. So I think it hit him as it bounced back towards him. So it will be Vancouver ball.
With 14 seconds on the shot clock.
Donald goes flying by. Jones can't get the 3 to go. Bandamel makes sure on that board. Quickly up ahead to Nuga. Finds Tony. Gets tied up. Good hands there by the NBA vet Michael Mulder. Heard Coach Julius after the game the other day talking about Mulder, saying, hey, that's pretty impressive. You haven't played pro basketball in 2 years and you come in and puts up a pretty nice performance against the Mamba. Tony has a shot blocked by the aforementioned Mulder, and then Danger again with the offensive board. The putback draws the foul, and he'll return to the free throw line.
On cue, Mulder with the great block. And Danger follows it up.
And I like the little leadership moment there. Mulder after that, Samuel's going to get subbed out. He just pulled him aside before he went to the bench. Just had a quick little chat, a few of them. Again, just sort of settled down. Nothing complicated. Then Samuel checks out. So a little leadership moment there from a player like Michael Mulder.
And it's great when you've got a locker room of guys who maybe have been leaders on their teams and they accept that leadership. A little bit easier, right?
And another aspect that maybe we're not able to talk about as much. Again, certainly teams have players returning, so there's some leadership built in there, but with new lineup mates coming in, it can be tough to determine the leaders in that room, I'm sure.
Oh, the dynamic is changing on a regular. Every time a new player comes in on contract, you change the dynamic of your locker room, right?
Parallel and roll. Couldn't get the ball going. Jones has to pull up for that 3, and it goes. Tevian Jones thought he got fouled. No call coming. Cuts the Vancouver deficit to 4. Bandamel Up top, Donald, and now here's Danger. He's got 17. Spins inside, left hand. Oh, and that one nearly dropped, but caught the front and the back before bouncing out. House around Tony, finds Kopp, and then could not be corralled by Kopp, and it will be Edmonton ball. And with that, we'll take a break here in the third quarter. 56-52 the pace, picking up here at the Edmonton Expo Center. Stingers up by 4. You're watching CEBL basketball live on CBC Gem, CBC Sports, and CEBL Plus.
Score! Big savings on parking at YEG. Use promo code STINGERS to save 20% on airport parking with Jet Set Parking. Affordable parking just minutes from the terminal. Book online at jetsetparking.com/YEG and use code STINGERS to save. Level up your game. Jet Set Parking has partnered with Edmonton International Airport for their new loyalty program, YEG Plus. Jet Set Parking at YEG Plus, a winning way to start your vacation.
You don't just fuel your body, you fuel your drive. We're not here to preach hustle. We're here for the ones who show up. You know who you are. The moms who make mornings feel like magic. The runners lacing up before the scroll. The dreamers writing it down before it's real. And we're here for you. Real fruit, real fuel. Booster Juice. Fuel for what's next.
The third quarter, Stingers out in front, 56-52, and Kyle Julius, head coach of Vancouver, has become one of the most respected minds in the CEBL. He's really built the identity of this Vancouver Bandits organization. He's the rare combination of head coach and general manager, so everything from roster construction to style of play runs through him. Julius played at a high level himself, with time in the NCAA and OUA before transitioning into coaching, where he won championships in NBL Canada and coached overseas in Vietnam. Since arriving in the CEBL back in 2020, he's turned Vancouver into a consistent contender. 2 finals appearances, multiple playoff runs, and he was named CEBL's Coach of the Year in 2024 after leading the Bandits to one of the league's best records. He has his work cut out for him, though, with a quarter and a half to go. Doug?
And you mentioned his Canadian University experience, won a CIS silver back in 2003, knocking off the Edmonton-based Alberta Golden Bears, the defending national champions at the time, and then lost in the final to some team named the Carleton Ravens. Won their first of 18 titles as they're again the defending national champions.
The Ravens, who at that time were coached by Dave Smart.
That's right.
There's a connection
to Coach Isaac Jack, and of course now playing for the Edmonton Stingers. It all ties together.
It's all one big web.
That's right. Stingers up by 7. House guarded by Teal. A blocking foul on Teal. That'll be his 3rd, so he will check out.
And this is a dangerous, and I don't care if you're coaching U15 or pro basketball, when 4 of the players on your floor all at the same time throw their hands up and look at an official, they're not focused on the game right now. So we got to see how the Stingers come back out of this. And if Vancouver can take advantage of that little break in concentration.
Good job defensive there by Donald, and the Stingers clean up the glass. And here's Bandamel on the wing. Look for Danger, couldn't find him. He'll swing it around. Donald, out of Nougat, takes a screen. Donald, thought about the 3, picked up by Mutabatsi. 5, 4. Shot clock winding down. Bandamel with the 3 late in the shot clock. The Stingers match their largest lead of the game at 10. Caught. Might have walked, no call. Rebound Bandamel, and now Donald. Slow things up, Bandamel. Back to Donald, guarded by House. Bandamel, they look down to Danger, picked up by Parolin.
And this is a little of the contrast in styles. The Stingers will be content to run it down to the dregs of the shot clock here, because they've got the lead. Great three, by the way.
Hey, Donald with the three builds Edmonton's lead up to 13. And Bandits fans, we know you bring the energy every night. You can be a part of it this season. Tickets are available by scanning the QR code you'll see on screen or at thebandits.ca/tickets. So Edmonton, tough finish to the second quarter. Big run here in this third quarter already. They've only given up 10 points through nearly 7 minutes of action here in the third quarter.
And as both you and Mark have pointed out about Coach Julius, you know he will not be happy in this timeout. And it won't be anything other than this is not Vancouver Bandit basketball in his estimation right now. They're a little loose with the ball, a couple turnovers. Jones spoke about it at halftime with Mark. We're finding open shooters and we're knocking down open shots. They're having trouble finding those open shooters right now. And the other piece is, at the defensive end, Coach Julius will say it's a little too easy for the Stingers to score. Coach Baker will be in that timeout talking about, hey, this is great, our offense is running the way we want it to. Defensively, we're playing the game plan, and that's the beauty of that. To me, that's the beauty of this game.
We talked to Stingers assistant coach Eric Fawcett before the game, and he mentioned the fact that he thought if they were going to have success in this game, it was going to be because of their length on the boards and their effort on the boards. And we've seen that here to this point in the game, and that's a trademark of what you see the Bandits often do. The Stingers have been able to win a lot of those battles on the glass. It's allowed them to create the kind of pace I think that they want. Here's Kopp. Works to his left, three doesn't go.
There's a great example of that rebounding right
there. That's right. Working inside on Mutabatsi, Vanderbilt brought it down. Here's Nuga. Donald, long three for Tay Donald, doesn't go. Jack, those long arms, keeps it alive, but then a little bit long on the pass back to Donald.
I will offer this. Better a dead ball turnover against Vancouver. Rather than throwing it to Vancouver, saying, here, run out on us, step out of bounds, throw it away, make them inbound.
And you can see, I mean, again, Isaac Jack just recently finished his NCAA career, so you can see Jordan Baker trying to work him in, get him some minutes, get him comfortable. 3-on-1, Stingers up top! That does not go, but a foul on the Bandits. And some push-ups on the floor there for Trey King. As that quick turnover nearly resulted in the house coming down.
That would have been some spectacular highlight footage. Great example of Edmonton getting out and running, and something that in preparing for this one, when you went back and looked at the Winnipeg footage, you didn't see that really at all.
Trey King at the line, Lexington, Kentucky native. Two-time All-Ohio Valley Conference team member. Played at Eastern Kentucky. Finished his career at Iowa State with the Cyclones.
And evidently had an excellent push-up program in their off-season training.
Well, I mean, he played with the Austin Spurs in the G League. I mean, you see what the San Antonio Spurs are doing, so maybe that's just built into the Greg Popovich lore.
Who evidently still shows up for workouts.
That's right.
Well, Jack did a good job of cutting him off.
Rooms tried to get the ball up the floor, turns it over. Knight does a good job to get it to Mulder. He'll be let right to the rim. So Aaron Rooms, whose minutes have been somewhat suppressed here tonight with the turnover, leading to the Bandits bucket, and here is Donald trying to get it back. Rooms for three.
On cue.
Yep. Aaron Rooms led this team in three-point shooting a year ago at 45%. Comes on the floor and knocks down another. Donald nearly turns it over. Here's King, finds Bandamel. Mulder closes on him. Here's Jack. Donald puts it up to Jack. Can't quite rip it down, tips it. 5 on the shot clock. Rooms, runner, won't go. Samuel with the board. A clunky possession for the Stingers. One of very few here in this third quarter. House, clean look at a 3, and he buries it.
And that's what hurts everybody that plays against Vancouver. You have a dry possession at this end, as you said, a little clunky, and then you come down to the other end and give up a seemingly pretty open, easy shot for House.
18 for House. And the foul's going to go on Isaac Jack as he and Samuel were jousting on the wing.
Got his arm a little high there to try to hold his space.
That'll be his 3rd, team's 4th. House guarded by Bandemel, cut off. To Samuel. And foul's going to go on Bandemel. It's going to be his 4th. That is going to send the Bandits to the line. Bandemel tonight, 8 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists. So exactly the kind of player. The numbers aren't always going to pop off the screen. 10 rebounds does, of course. But a player that just gets things done for a group like the Stingers, and that's a tough break for them having Bandemel down.
And going into the 4th, having him handcuffed with foul trouble is going to be a problem. And let's talk about how important closing this quarter is for Edmonton. Going back to the 2024 season, Vancouver is 24-1 when leading after 3 quarters. So, Edmonton's thinking, let's make sure we've got a lead, and Vancouver's looking at it going, hang on, this is not us.
Trey King tries to help that cause on the Stinger front with a short corner fadeaway. Jones left open, long 3, that one well off the mark, and that is going to do it to end the third quarter. So the Stingers will head to that 4th quarter with a 72-59 edge over the Vancouver Bandits. You're watching CEBL basketball live on CBC Gem, CBC Sports, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
What keeps me going? Under the heat of the sun or in the heat of the moment. When climbing for even one more second seems like too much. Whether you're reaching for your goal or busy setting new ones, everyone hits their limit, but that limit has a reset. Scientifically formulated to hydrate faster in the moments that matter. Electrolyte, instant hydration.
Did you know that every CEBL game ends on a game-winning bucket? Yep, every single one. That's because we use something called target score ending, a thrilling twist that keeps fans locked in till the final shot. So what is the target score ending? Here's how it works. The first time the clock stops with 4 minutes or less left in the 4th quarter, the game clock is turned off. We enter target score time. We take the leading team score, add 9 points, and that becomes the target score. Let's say it's 91-80. That means the first team to hit 100 wins. No ticking clock, no intentional fouls, just pure clutch basketball. It's fast, it's electric, and it guarantees that every game ends with a bang. Experience the target score ending this CEBL season.
Welcome back inside the Edmonton EXPO Center, where the Stingers are up 72-59 on the Vancouver Bandits. To 3 quarters of play. Now time for the cruise of the game, presented by Cal Tire, and it's Trey King, that near alley-oop, and then the self-inflicted punishment of the push-ups. And Trey King with a key bucket there late. To your point, Dave, trying to continue to build that lead. That little jumper in that last minute keeps it at 13 as we head into the 4th quarter.
And you got to know that's got to be on the Stinger coaching staff mind. They know what Vancouver does. Vancouver up 10-1 on fast break points in this game. If anyone's got a chance here by pattern to just get out and run and close this gap, and Vancouver goes right to work by going inside.
There's good patience by Samuel. Points in the paint 26-18 in favor of Edmonton, and that's been a key issue for the Stingers in previous matchups. Nice look on the cut to the cutting Trey King from Dane Danger.
Dane Danger racked up a lot of those points in the paint, especially to start this second half. Got on a little roll there, so I think that's Coach Jordan Baker trademark, or those points in the paint. We've talked a lot about some Kyle Julius trademarks. It's going to be a battle of personalities here down in the fourth. Nice slip by Danger there to get himself to the rim.
Danger is fouled. We'll see who this foul goes on. That's going to be on Tyrese Samuel. That is his fourth foul, so he will take a seat as Parolin will come into the game. And last year, points in the paint absolutely dominated by Vancouver in the first two games of the year. Last two games, Stingers closed the gap, actually leading in points in the paint, 114-108. All four of those games, however, were Stinger losses. Mitch Creek, player of the year in the CEBL, averaged 29 points and 7.5 rebounds a game in those four victories, and they scored at minimum in those four wins 104 points.
It's a different look right now for sure.
Guys, as we get closer to target score time, that's an area that Edmonton has really emphasized after last week's loss against Winnipeg. They had control of that game late, but turnovers, rush possessions, and a breakdown defensively opened the door for the Sea Bears to steal it. The Stingers told us this week that a focus has been composure, valuing every possession, getting organized offensively, and finishing defensive rebounds when the pressure builds to a crescendo in target score time. Because once that target score is set, momentum can swing fast in this league, and Edmonton feels like tonight is a chance to show that they learned from that loss and can close out games the right way. Doug?
The challenge, you're right, Mark, the challenge is always going to be the players like the Jalen Houses, who right now is just, he's creating open threes for himself, finding looks as Danger will pick up the offensive foul. That's his second, team's first. There's Knight into the game for Coach Julius. House picked up by Donald. Screen coming from Parolin. House backing in Donald. Works around him, left hand to the right. And he puts it in.
We used all the words, patience, composure, talking about the Stingers in target score time, and then House gives us a clinic on patience and composure, just breaking his man down to get to the glass.
Rooms gets to the free throw line and rattles that one home. He's got 4, or 5 I should say, with that earlier 3. Parolin hands it back to House.
Rooms a crowd favorite.
Jones finds Parolin, 3, doesn't drop. Rebound for Tony. Now here's Donald. Danger. Baseline, working against Parolin. Dane Danger with an outstanding second half. He's got 21 points. And an offensive foul. Gonna go against John Knight III.
Trying to guard his space near the rim and just extended that arm a bit. And the official might have got a little help in seeing what was going on there. Ultimately, that's the game.
Miller Kopp will check back in. Knight comes out.
A little confusion there in the Vancouver bench, just who was in, who was out.
Mulder thought he was out, and then he popped back on the floor. And Teal back in the game for Edmonton.
Teal, who started the game shooting with a real hot hand, but we haven't seen him
triple danger, and then Parolin able to keep that ball alive. Jones, House, Three in and out. Deflected. Nice play by Tay Donald just to deflect it. Knew he couldn't pull it down himself. Gets it to a teammate in Aaron Runes. Here is Runes working against Kopp. Little fallback jumper doesn't go. Mulder with the board. Step up by Teal. He'll need some help. Donald picks up House. Runes slides over as well. Now Mulder. Three pretty calmly dropped by Michael Mulder, and a timeout called by Jordan Baker with 6:33 to go. 80-69. The Stingers up on the Bandits.
And they've chipped away at that. Cut it to 11. And they've kept their team identity, right? They're going to run, they're going to shoot, they're going to pressure you.
Coming up in the CEBL, Friday, May 23rd, it's a rematch between these two as the Vancouver Bandits will host the Edmonton Stingers in their home opener from Envision Financial Court at Langley Event Center. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Mountain, 10 p.m. Eastern. So these teams already getting familiar with each other today will get to reacquaint themselves on Friday.
Chapter 2.
And as a coach, does that help when you get within a short window playing the same team twice? Even if you have other games in between, does that help in terms of your ability to scout and game plan?
If you have good discipline in your roster, yes. If you don't, complacency builds in. And now when you start to go through adjustments and game plan, they give you the we know already. If you've got, and at the pro level, you would assume you've got good discipline, so absolutely it helps you. This is a short prep week now, and you can really drill down on maybe one or two things you want to fix. How do we want to adjust to that pick and roll? How do we want to, and you can really get granular with your prep when you play back-to-back.
Both teams will be off until that game on the 22nd, then they'll play again on the 24th. Edmonton back here against Niagara. Vancouver will be at home against Calgary. And then the schedule ramps up for both teams as they'll play more frequently than these early weeks of the year. And that's going to be a travel on Aaron Runes.
See Edmonton extending the defense here. They're not going to let House get a little bit of momentum going downhill to the bucket. They'll meet him right away on the catch.
And Mohammed checks in for Aaron Runes. Mohammed just 3 minutes so far in this ballgame. House able to get down the left side of the lane. Cuts the deficit to 9. Tony dribbles it off his leg and out of bounds.
It looked like he was looking for a cutter there, maybe some more movement from the Stingers, and everyone was content to watch the show, and they left him hanging a little. Jones makes the choice there.
Screen coming from Mulder. House and 10 on the shot clock. Tony on him. Gets it back. Here's House. Runs right into Kopp. Gets it off. And that'll be a shot clock violation. And maybe some early season wires being crossed there as Kopp and House collided really at the top. I think Kopp trying to come over, create a screen. House wasn't really looking for one.
No, not that late in the shot clock, right? He's like, no, just clear out and let me go. And that's exactly what they're talking about there amongst themselves is, hey, just clear out, let me go that late in the shot clock.
So Bandamel checks back in with those 4 fouls. Of course, Therese Samuel for Vancouver, the one player with 4. Teal. Inside to the cutting Nuga. House is down, was grabbing his left knee momentarily. Appears to be okay. Muhammad inside. Closely guarded by Jones. The shot won't go. Here's House quickly up the floor. Rebound by King.
Well, Muhammad tried to use the rim there to guard that shot and take the shot block out of the play, but great defensive play.
King for 3. That one comes up short, just nicks the front of the iron. Edmonton, like in the second quarter, their offense has gone cold again here. Samuel now back in the game. Left hand doesn't go. Follow goes. They're going to say no basket, but he will get and earn himself a trip to the line.
Foul was on the first shot that he missed, and it was a patient whistle that didn't go until he had already gotten the offensive rebound.
Danger comes in for Muhammad as Jordan Baker buys a little bit of a breather for Danger, who's been outstanding here in this second half with 15 points. He's got a double-double, 21 points, 11 rebounds. Samuel hits the first free throw. He's 4 of 5 in the line tonight. And the second. So the lead down to 7. It was once 15. King finds danger as Samuel hit the deck. And that left Danger wide open for the flush.
Emphatic finish by Danger there.
And now another foul on Samaj Teal. And that will be it for Teal. Get a look at that dunk by Danger. Stoppage after the 4-minute mark will the target score time, and the target score will be set. Well, nearly flies out of bounds, and it is out of bounds. Jones, his left foot caught the sideline.
Danger leaving no doubt on that dunk, sending a clear message to Vancouver on that one.
And here is Donald. It's around the screen from Danger. Now Nuga. 10 on the shot clock, picked up by Mulder. Nuga to the right hand, couldn't get it to drop in, and Tate Donald will pick up the foul on House. Just the second on Donald. And that will set us at target time. The target score will be 91. We're going to step out, be back with target score time. You're watching CEBL Basketball live on CBC Gem, CBC Sports, YouTube, and CEBL Plus.
Let's bring it on. It's game time. It's showtime.
Nick Hornsby, here's Oakland for the win. You gotta love a Canadian boost. Two hands, me. Oh, what a block from behind.
Next bucket wins. Target score time is the best time of a game. The energy, the drama,
And anything can happen. Oh my goodness! Can you believe this guy?
big players step up in big times. He is cooking.
Back inside the Edmonton EXPO Center, 82-73. The Stingers up on the Bandits. Target score is set at 91. We heard Mark talking earlier about a point of focus for the Stingers after last week, and it was a bit of an issue for them at times last year too. It was where it was almost noticeable the style shift for the Stingers. How do you avoid that as a coach and sort of just play guys? We just need to play.
And we see it even in NBA and NCAA basketball. You play a certain style for 38 out of 40 or 42 out of 48 minutes, and all of a sudden you think you have to change who you are and the way you play the game because you're protecting a lead. You know, it's the old football adage, the prevent defense only prevents you from winning sometimes. So it really comes down to messaging from the coaches to the players and saying, no, we're going to be who we are. We're going to keep our identity, and we're just going to keep it's waves on the beach.
Kopp gets fouled. He will have 2 at the line as the Stingers are in the penalty. 5 team fouls.
And that hurts Edmonton. Target score time is its own unique thing in the sense that it doesn't matter if you're scoring with the time running or the time stopped, but any time now that Edmonton fouls, you're going to give up some free throws here to Vancouver, and that certainly doesn't help.
Here's Danger working against Samuel.
Going right back to the way he was playing earlier.
House finds Jones. 3.
Like he's aggressive, he's hunting the rim.
Now Danger up the 4, and another dunk for Danger. Samuel really had no choice but to fly by there with the 4 fouls.
No, he didn't. And Danger wasn't going to give anyone a choice up at the rim either. He was going to make sure that happened.
House, little fallback runner doesn't go, and now Donald up the floor. Kicks it out, Bandamel. Danger working on Mulder, left hand.
Looking for a foul there, but I think he just kind of jammed it into the rim, honestly.
Kopp with no rebounding presence at all. That shot doesn't go for him, and now here is Donald. Backdoor to Tony. Mulder with the block from behind, and then Tony able to clean it up, put it home. Timeout called by Kyle Julius. 86-75. Stingers 5 points away from a win.
Cagey block by Mulder there, right? There's that experience at higher levels. Okay, I'm not going to be able to get in front of you. I'm going to wait till you go up, and I'm just going to get a hand on the ball. Great cagey block there.
But good follow. We've seen that all game long from the Stingers.
Yes.
It's the second effort. Okay, block, yeah. Control the ball, patience, go back up for the finish.
And again, something I think they learned from watching, I'm old enough to say film, video from last week.
86-75. The Stingers up leading scorers right now. Danger with 25 points to go along with 12 rebounds. For Vancouver, it's Jalen House with 27. Tevian Jones had a really hot first half. He's got 19. Quieter second half for Jones.
It almost looks like he's tried to defer a little. He's made a decision maybe to try to involve some teammates, whereas in the first half his decision was shoot, pass, dribble. Now it's more of a pass, dribble, shoot hierarchy. Whether that's on coach instruction or he's trying to share it a little bit. You like where, if you're the Stingers and you lost in target time last week, you like where they're at in terms of their emotional control, but also they're playing good, aggressive basketball. Vancouver's never going to be out of this thing as long as they got House and Jones on the floor.
House a little short on that layup, and Danger quickly up for Edmonton. Crossover works against Samuel. Kopp with the rebound. Points in the paint, 38-22 in favor of Edmonton. Tony took one, I think, inadvertently in the neck, and then Jones puts a big 3. 8-point Edmonton lead. King. Kopp on him. Now Donald. Nearly picked off by House. Donald, 3. In and out. Rebound. Danger. They'll reset. King, 3. That one is good. 89-78 Edmonton.
And that's a choice we're seeing in the FIBA game, the international game, more and more. Offensive rebound kick to an immediate 3.
House, the screen from Samuel. He'll use it. Pull up 3. Off the mark. Rebound Donald. Zips it up ahead. Oh, he got a little greedy maybe at danger open momentarily, but picked off by House.
Little caught in the moment, high risk pass, trying to get Danger another dunk there.
Now here's King.
Crowd sensing it a little bit here. They're 2 points away from the target. Score time win.
Nuga, that's a foul on Mulder. Only 2, now 3 team fouls on the Bandits. Jordan Baker will call timeout following that foul. Edmonton ball coming back. Numbers on Tay Donald tonight. His minutes up. He's just shy, right around 25 right now. 7 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 turnovers. And it's been sort of bucketed moments of turnovers. And again, maybe trying to force things that aren't there, but not unusual for a young player.
No, not unusual at all. And sometimes you can look at a turnover and say, what was the effort behind it? It was a coach much better than me that I overheard talking to one of his players once on a bad turnover like that, and his only question was, what did you see? You know what, kid, young player, if you saw it and it slipped out of your hand, or maybe you're not strong enough, or whatever it is, what did you see? So the question now will be going back to Tay Donald and saying, what did you see there? Well, I thought I could get it over the top. Okay, now you learned your lesson, let's move on. They're not turnovers of foolishness, they're turnovers from effort. So you can work with that with a young player all the time. We keep referring to him as a young player.
It's third year with the Stingers and played his first full pro season this past winter in Finland with Tapiola and Honka. Started all 37 games actually for them, averaged over 14 points a game. So has and will continue to be an important player for the Stingers, especially with Samaj Teal out with those 5 fouls. Here is Danger. Danger working against Samuel, doesn't go. Nuga goes! And the Edmonton Stingers knock off the Vancouver Bandits.
Welcome back to Edmonton, Mike Nuga.
91-78.
Yes. And I'm sure Kyle Julius, as much as he's disappointed with the result, has that look on his face about how it happened more than what happened.
And we saw that a lot, those second chance points by Edmonton throughout the game. So fitting that it ends on a play like that with Nuga following up.
Absolutely. One of the areas that they knew they wanted to improve on was rebounding, second chance opportunities. Again, coaching staff mentioned that before the game. And here they are. What a great way to win when that's been a point of emphasis all week.
So the Stingers will improve their record to 1-1 on the season. Vancouver falls to 1-1, and after a year in 2025 where they could not get over the Vancouver Bandit hump, they do it here in their first matchup. And again, hold a team and a really good offensive team to under 80 points.
And you know that's got to be a goal for them, is to try to hold these teams under, in that 75 to 80 range. So as a coach, when you talk about your process and all the things involved in trying to win a game, and you go down the checklist, keep them between 75 and 80, check. Second chance points, check.
Let's go to Mark Majot, who's got our player of the game presented by Booster Juice. It's Dane Danger.
Dane, 25 points, 14 rebounds for yourself, but I think more importantly, how does it feel to get your first victory of this young season?
Great, man, great. We've been, this past week, we had a couple of days, to get ready for this one. I just felt like practice, we came together, got hella reps up, and we just came together as a team, build chemistry. So
I know it was a quick training camp, and I know the season goes by in a blur, but what's it like to play in front of these fans here in Edmonton? You played in some packed arenas before, but what's it been like your first 2 home games?
Man, crazy environment, man. We all appreciate, the support here. It means a lot. The fans get us going, so we'll see you guys next home game.
I know it's a quick turnaround, but how much do you let yourself enjoy tonight's game before you start focusing on the next one?
Enjoy this one, but it's back to work, especially for me, it didn't show up on the stat sheet, but, I got a lot of stuff to work on, so.
Well, congratulations on the victory tonight. Enjoy the time with your teammates, and we'll see you back here next weekend.
For sure, thank you.
Dane Danger, player of the game, 25 points, 14 rebounds. Let's throw it back to Dave and Doug at the broadcast booth.
Yeah, I'd say the stats look pretty good. 25 points, 14 rebounds. We're going to step out. You're watching CEBL basketball live on CBC Gem, CBC Sports, and CEBL Plus.
When Crystal Glass introduced our residential window line this past year, it was essential to manufacture them locally.
Crystal Glass has always been a proudly Canadian company.
We employ Canadians, we serve Canadians, and we are Canadians. So our windows are designed and built for our climate.
And since we've been the clear choice for glass for over 75 years, you can trust our quality and service.
Visit one of our over 50 locations across Western Canada or at crystalglass.ca. Financing is now available.
Sticks in the middle.
Can I join you guys? All right, let's go.
Whether it's on the ice or on our app, always play for the fun of the game. Gamble responsibly with Play Alberta. At Cal Tire, we're here to drive the best value around. With free rotations, price match, 0% financing, and free flat repairs. We take care of it all for the life of your tires. Chat with our team at caltire.com.
Welcome back to the Edmonton Expo Center. Doug McLean along with Dave Drabuk and Mark Majot. It's a 91-78 Edmonton Stingers victory over the Vancouver Bandits. So, tough finish for the Stingers last week, but a pretty impressive, relatively steady performance. Second quarter maybe got away from them a little bit, but they really wrestled it back in that second half.
They really did. They came out to start the second half. They had some players that really... Dane Danger made me laugh in the post-game when he said, I've got some things to work on. Sure, as a coach, I can say, I can probably give you a couple things. However, finishes with a double-double, 25 and 11, leading the charge in terms of the Stingers' points in the paint, a couple of emphatic dunks. They win the second chance points, 23-8, because they've got everybody crashing the glass, trying to follow their teammates, put all that together. A much better, even though they took the dip in the second quarter, first quarter through fourth quarter, a much better consistent effort from the Stingers.
So you can join us for some Sunday afternoon hoops from the Flower City as the Calgary Surge travel to the CAA Center to take on the Brampton Honey Badgers. Tip-off of that one will be at 4 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Mountain. You can catch all the action on CBC Gem, CBC Sports, YouTube, and CEBL Plus. So for the Stingers, nice home win. They get a bit of time off. They'll head to Vancouver, play next Friday before they're back here at the Expo Center next Sunday when they will take on the Niagara River Lions. On behalf of Mark Majot, Dave Drabuk, our wonderful crew here putting all the action together for you, I'm Doug McLean. Thanks for tuning in here on this long weekend. Stingers win 91-78 at home over the Vancouver Bandits. Have a great rest of your night.
I came to knock him out the